Good morning and or good afternoon, and welcome to a computer science tutorial. In this video we're going to be talking about how to calculate the tax, total cost, and use if and else with a nested if in Excel. So let's get to it. So right here we have the table of the assignment, which you have in Teams, right? So over here is the instructions. This is what you have to do for each column, and on the right side you have a display of how the logical or how the function would be for if and else, and then for if with a nested if inside, which is this one. It's using an if inside another if, making one decision based on one logical test, one condition. If it is true, then we do this, what's here. If it is false, then we go and make another decision. Okay? So you're gonna see a little bit, an example of that, better example of that right here. Okay? So previously you've already used if, simple if and else, right here, to determine if something was expensive or cheap. Right? You put the logical test, which was if it was greater than 250, and then it would print expensive. If that was not true, then you would print cheap, right? So we're going to do basically the same thing, but instead of displaying cheap here, we would start checking for another condition, okay? So let's get to it. So the first thing that we need to do would be find out the total EVU, right? So we have the tax right here, 11.5% in Puerto Rico. So we're gonna to find out how much is 11.5 and 200. What we need to do is multiply. So if we have the percentage, which is already here, and we have the $200, which is already here, we're gonna use those cells, right? So we're gonna put equal to right here, equal to the price times the EVU, and that would give us how much it would be. So if we were going to buy one monitor for $200, and we have an 11.5% EVU, then we would be paying a total of $23 for EVU only, for just the tax. And then to get the total price would be like the 23 plus the 200 would be $223, the total cost of one monitor. Now, if we want to do the same thing but for all four monitors, we need to first multiply the price and quantity to get the total, right? And then that total, we're going to multiply it by 11.5 to get how much EVU we would pay for all those four monitors. But there was one more thing. Over here we have one free. So let's look at the problem real quick. So you want to order some items and you can get some of them for free. So subtract the free items from the total quantity for each item and multiply it with the item price. Don't forget to add the EVU right here. Calculate the cost, and everything should be in a visually appealing way. Alright, so it must be understandable. Right now you only need to put the answer of the equations, alright? Use the equations. Do not put the plain numbers like this. I don't want that, alright? Put the equations. We start off with the equal sign right here, and we're going to say if we're going to do algebraic expression, alright? All this was already explained in the video conference. I'm just going over it real quick. Okay, so now we open the parenthesis, because parentheses go first, then we have multiplication or division from left to right, and then we have addition or subtraction, right? Basic algebra. So now inside the parentheses we're going to put the price, the cell of the price, times the quantity, right? But there's one thing. The quantity is not just 4, because we have one of those 4 that is free. So what we need to do is subtract quantity minus free amount, right? But what's going to happen here? So what we're going to do is multiply 200 times 4, and then that result minus 1. And we don't want that. So we need to use parentheses here to put, first we need the subtraction, and then we multiply times the price. So we got, if we follow the algebraic order right now, we have 4 minus 1, and then that result, which would be 3, we multiply it by 200 right here. Alright, now, after we have that, then this whole result will be multiplied by this one, the evil. Alright, so right now we have 3. 4 minus 1 equals 3 times 200, and that would equal 600, right? So let's now multiply by 11.5, which would tell us, instead of the total price of the items, it would tell us the total EVU for all those items. So now let's just double click right here, or we could edit it right here on top, whichever you prefer. And then we're gonna multiply all that by this cell. We're gonna click it, B17, the one with the EVU, and then we put enter. So the total EVU for all those monitors, for all those 3 monitors, would be $69. Now that we got the EVU price, we can find the total cost. Right, so for the total cost, this is simple. This part is simple. We need to find out how many monitors we're going to buy and how much is the EVU price in dollars. We've already done that. We already know that we are going to buy 3 monitors because one of them is free, and we already have the EVU price. So let's just add those two, alright? So let's put total cost will equal 4 minus free amount, the quantity minus the free amount, which is 4 minus 1 in this case, multiplied. We could put that in parentheses. We're going to multiply that result by the price, and then we add the EVU price. So let's look at the equation. Right here we have a quantity minus free amount, and then we multiply it by the price. So we have 3 times 3 times 200, which equals 600, and then we add the EVU, which is 69. So that would give us a total of $669 to pay for all those 3 monitors and the EVU included. There you go. So now that we did that part, the only part missing would be use if and else with a nested if. Alright, so now that we have this, by the way, the purpose of it being equations and not numbers is because now if I change it, and let's say instead of 1 free monitor I have 2 free monitors, then look at that, it automatically changes to what these numbers are telling it, right? So now let's put this back. What if it was none? There was no free amount. Boom. Then that would be our total to pay. But since there is 1, look at that. Blaggedy. So that's pretty cool, right? So now, let's do if and else with a nested if statement. So it says here, if the total cost is greater than $1,200, then display warning, price is too high. But if it's not true, and it is just greater than $800, then display not bad, but it's still going to hurt. Now, if neither of the previous ones are true, then we have to display that's a good deal. Right? So how are we going to do this? It's basically the same way that we used expensive or cheap in the previous assignment. The only difference is where cheap goes, where we would put cheap, that's where we would put the next if to check for the 800. Alright, so we're going to put equal to. We're going to start if. We're going to start wondering right here and express a condition. Open the parenthesis and close it, and look at here. On the bottom it tells you what you need to put. So right now we're in the part for putting the logical test, which is the condition. Is it greater than this other number? Is it true that it says monitor or not, for example? Is it true that it's higher or greater than 1200? Alright, so let's put if total cost is greater than 1200, then we put the comma, and you see how we moved on from logical test. We already expressed the logical test. It's wondering if this is true or not. Right now, is it true? It is not true. So right here, then we have the value if it's true. Ta-dang. If it is true, we will display warning, price is too high. Warning, I ate a letter there. Warning, price is too high. But if it's not true, instead of displaying, it's good, no, we're going to make another if. So right here, look at this. We already put logical test, the condition. We already put what is going to happen if that condition is true. And now we're going to happen, what is going to happen if it's false? Well, what's going to happen is that we're going to check if another condition is true. And this is where we are using a nested if, because this if is inside this whole if right here. Alright, so now this if will only play when this part is not true. That's why it's in here. You see? Value if false, then we start this if. Now, let's put the new logical test. The second logical test. As you can see here, logical test 1, second logical test, and we can do the same thing so on until forever infinity. Third logical test, fourth logical test, an if inside another if, inside another if, inside another if, inside another if. But for now, let's do it with just one nested if. So if it's greater than 800, we have to display not bad, but it's still going to hurt. So let's go over here and put if total cost, the same one, is greater than 800, then right here, if it's true, we will display not bad, but it's still going to hurt. And then right now we have this one will be checked if the previous one is not true, right? And this will play only when it's not greater than 1200, but it is greater than 800. Now, if neither of the previous one are true, then we put that's a good deal, because the only option left, if we don't specify anything else, is lesser than 800. So let's put right here, comma, and then if both of the previous ones are false, we're gonna put that's a good deal, and we are good. And then we press enter. So you see, now because this is less than 800, it says that's a good deal. But what if we wanted 6 monitors? You see, it's still under 1200, and it says not bad, but it's still going to hurt. And now if we want 8 monitors, warning, price is too high because it passed 1200. So that's basically how you use nested if and else. Now, what you should do is once you do one, you can use this to drag down the whole formula and automatically fill the rest. And the same thing over here. Now, why is it not gonna work, especially with the evil? Well, because right here, every time you're copying down the formula, it will move, it will, it will move accordingly. Like the whole formula will start, okay, from this one, if the first cell was looking for price and quantity in this row, then the second cell will look for them in this row. But remember that we're also looking for the evil, which is here. So right now, if I double click here, look at the marked up cells. So it's looking for the price, quantity, and free amount in the right place, but it's not looking for the evil in the right place. You see, it's looking for the one on the bottom under the evil because I copied it down. And if we go to the last one, look at where it's looking the evil right here. So how can we fix that? Well, we gotta tell Excel that one of the cells will not change even when I copy the formula. So how do we do that? So we go to the original cell. And we are going to go to the B17, which is the one that has the evil. And before the letter B, we're going to put the dollar symbol saying, okay, so do not change the column B. And then the dollar symbol before the number of the row saying, do not change from row 17. So it will always be this specific cell. Now if I put enter, everything should work fine, and I just copy it down like this, and look at that. And now it works. Now if we double click on the rest, look, it's looking for the evil in the right place, and it's not changed. In the last one, it's looking for the evil in the right place. Perfect. And now if we copy the rest, everything should be good. Da-dang, you see? And if we do the same thing with the nested if, da-dang. So that's basically what you have to do. So go ahead and try it yourself. If anything, please let me know. But this video tells you step by step of how to do the whole assignment. So this is pretty helpful for you. Alright, so thank you very much and have a nice week. Doo -doo -doo.